It had been but days since the death of the great grey-scaled one, and the others had already begun their searching, scouring the lands from above on their wings for their missing brethren. Of course, they would never find them, as unless he was to make them anew as his own, that body had gone from existence. Still, at least he knew they watched their own closely, and they could be missed and sought after if lost. This gave an opportunity, although he was unsure if it was a good one or not. If he remade them by his hand, would they know? Could they sense his magic if he did and rode inside them? Perhaps a test was in order. But if he did test such with another, surely he would be discovered, and then it would be an all-out resistance against him. And for the first time in a long age, he wondered if he could take their secrets if that were to happen. After all, the one he had taken had ended his existence and literally destroyed their identity to prevent him from gaining any knowledge at all. He was sure whatever they would do would be of far greater ill towards his aims. But if he rode within, he could at least bend the situation somewhat, although considering their power, if more than one arrived, which was more than likely in this case, he could have some serious problems containing them all. While his energy still flowed, building his power back slowly, he realized he must first return to his whole self, so that the knowledge he held would not be lost should his machinations here fall foul of the power of the scaled ones. To this end he rode within that first body, back through the veiled plains to deposit his knowledge and replenish his form. It took several days to fully energize and reinforce this form, with all he could without it causing it to break down. But this power held within the threads of his own design would serve to amplify his powers when he needed them. He now had an ace up his sleeve, should he need it. A literal hidden assassin, or perhaps a lurking bodyguard. Either way, this could be used to enforce his will, strengthen his form, or just manifest as he had designed it in that which he guessed might be needed. If they did confront him, he would have a body of their own design, and he would use its magnificence to tear them apart. Once sure of his stored energies and the stability of his host, the journey back began. Less than a day after leaving his realms and traversing the plains, he became aware that he was being watched from afar by one he knew all too well.
"Come closer, thuliseak, so I may end you,"
he roared out, facing the figure in the distance. Unexpectedly, they seemed to wave one of their arms his direction and start to move toward him. This has to be another of his tricks, he thought, as he too began moving towards his prey. They would not escape him this time. They stopped several hundred feet apart and looked each other up and down, gauging the power of their opposition before they spoke. "You are planning on forcing your way to the secret knowledge of their kind, aren't you?" they said, sighing at the end, their voice making their words more akin to a statement than a question. "Library, store, vault. Does it matter? It holds some of what I seek," he shouted back, the plain rippling from the energies emanating from his words. "You've already failed. You just don't know," they said, cocking their head to one side as though considering something before continuing. "But I know this knowledge would not prevent you from still attempting." He roared with laughter and took several steps towards them as he replied, "Nothing there can stop me now, and nothing chrylsis can do can prevent me either. He is locked within the astral by his own hand, and as long as I leave it be, he cannot interfere." He grinned as he continued, "And I will take them all, and make their forms my own. They will be added to my forces, and make them unstoppable. All will fall by their hand." Thuliseak traced their foot along the floor, as though a child would move dirt while knowing something the questioner did not. Ah, but you forget, they said softly, levelling their gaze to him. There are others that protect the primes, as well as your would-be father. And at this, they got the result they expected.
He is not my father!
He roared, his energies exploding out from him as a pulse of raw demonic destruction. Thuliseak raised a hand, and they flowed around him as water would a stone. I see your rage for chrylsis has not lessened with time. They seemed to smirk as his arms flourished, as though pointing to something unseen. You know too well my intentions, and you will not continue to prevent me from my goal, whatever it is you truly are. Yes, he was angry, raging, or perhaps they would slip and tell him something in their lofty manner. It might work. And who would these others be that could even hold a candle to you, let alone my power? Thuliseak smiled. You truly are a child, even as old as you are, aren't you? They paced a little as they continued, as they always did. You still think, no, believe, that you were the first gifted as you are. I almost pity you for that. Wait, there were others as him, he thought, and for a moment calmed his rage. Yes, I will tell you no more, except that you think you are unique, but you are so only in one aspect, other than your ineptitude for truths. Right, the rage was coming back again as his demonic anger began to claw at this restraint. You! What? Nuisance? Pawn of the gods? Riddler? They were having fun with this, and he could sense it. So he needed to end it or remove either them or himself from the situation before his daemonhood ripped its way through to the surface. He had plans to enact. Yes, you do need to go, so you may accomplish that which you believe you are destined to. Assault them all and gain access to their knowledge. But it is a folly you cannot be aware of that will be your failure here. Not even by your hand will you accomplish that which you seek to do. Their arms flicked and motioned as they created a portal. One of their own unique portals. No threads, no trace. How do they do it? With magic beyond your capability, that is how, came the answer as they stood in front of their path to somewhere he could not sense. Then leave me be so I may begin my assault. They shook their head as they slowly raised it, their eyes slowly gaining a burning silvered flame. Just remember that it was your actions that made what will transpire so, but it was your actions that have fouled your own plans. You have already lost, Scourge, and your actions lost you to your scaled friends in time past. And with that, they passed into the portal and vanished as it faded with their passing. They were gone, finally. They made his mind ache every time they met, and this time was no different. Not unique. How? He had been told by both his progenitors that he was so, and even by their would-be sibling, Terrorspine. They were unique. Weren't they? None had seen him or his powers prior to him. Of that he was sure. He had too many within him, of watered-down demons that were seeded from other demons, originally from the daemons and their grand powers, and of course, shards of the very source. They knew only of him. Thuliseak was lying. Yes, that had to be it. And while he was here, what was he up to? Why come to him now? He never did anything without... Wait. He was stalling. Damn you! He shouted into the nothingness as he began to move as fast as he could back to the prime where his plans were to be enacted. And as he breached the veil once more, things were different.